generation and the games thereof for Pokemon. Welcome, everyone. This is Systematic Ecology. We are the Priest of the Geeks. As we continue on through, this is a new series itself. Maybe we'll do more, but today we're going to be discussing our favorite Pokemon games, generations, everything within those. And by we, I mean, of course, myself, Christian Ashley, and Elizabeth Pangalangan Clyde, the co-leader of the rebellion against the evils of Joshua Knoll and everything that he represents. How's it going, Pang?
Pretty good. Hello. I'm ready to catch them all, Christian. I'm just ready.
Okay, you're getting more like TJ with your answers as time goes on.
Sorry. I start caring less and less.
But we're not alone today. That other laugh that you hear is a guest for us. Laura Wittman, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Wittman. I am a United Methodist pastor in the North Carolina Conference of the Methodist Church. I serve as the chaplain of Lewisburg College, which is a small 2-year school. And I also serve as the coordinating pastor of Lighthouse congregations for our conference. I also am a Pokemon master as well, just to be clear.
What? Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. I think we're all mutual Pokemon masters here with all we've done. But other than Pokemon itself, is there anything else you're super interested in geek-wise that the people need to know about?
I'm into a lot of things. Star Wars, like so much so that we named one of our kids after Star Wars characters. Really into Duke basketball as a geek thing in itself. And I'm really into, I can't really explain this one, but Bluey. I love Bluey. Like I can't get enough Bluey. So
you did a Bluey episode.
Oh.
I love it. Yeah, I've got Bluey and Bingo up here as well.
We did. Was it last year? Yeah. Perfect.
I don't know.
Well,
sorry, I was thinking.
Like we said earlier, we are going to be talking about Pokemon. Oh, go ahead, Pang.
I didn't say anything.
I'm having some internet issues on my side, so everyone's lagging on my end. So it's not your fault. I'm the one to blame. So like we mentioned, we are doing a Pokemon episode. We're focusing primarily on the video games themselves, but we'll go into a little bit of the card game later on. But for right now, how did we actually know before that, if I'm actually going to do my job here as a host, what has everyone been geeking out on recently?
For me,
and I can go first to give people time to think. Oh, go ahead.
Me? Oh, so lately I have not had as much time to play it as I want to, but I've been playing Echoes of Wisdom and I have loved it so far. So all the Zelda love.
More Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't know why. We're just really into the original 90s Yu-Gi-Oh! For me.
All right. You're getting closer to the end now, though, right?
Yes, I am almost done because I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think they're connected if I remember correctly. Like they are vaguely. I don't know. They are okay. It's like the new ones that are kind of just crazy. We'll see. I don't know. Wherever the anime leads me, I will follow.
Fair.
There you go. Me, I've watched the first couple episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina, which is the 3rd season for that. Really enjoyed it. It was a really fun time. But yeah, so now is the time when we actually go into the episode proper and discuss Pokemon. So, ladies, when did you get introduced to Pokemon?
It was Christmas Eve in the 90s when I was at my grandmother's house. And we were unwrapping gifts, very cheerful. And there I unwrapped a Game Boy Yellow. And with it, Pokemon Yellow. And hence my favorite color was born from that moment on. And ever since then, I've been a diehard Pikachu fan. It is tattooed on my body. It is displayed around my house. It is in my soul. Pokemon. There you go.
So I love that.
Thank you.
For me, it was 1997.
After that very emo take, Laura.
For me, it was definitely Indigo League, 1997. I was maybe too old to be into Pokemon, but who cares about societal standards? I was really into it immediately. And I had all of the Pokemon like on my backpack, like on keychains. Like I would carry Pokemon around with me at school. This was middle school for me, high school like age. But Indigo League, I was immediately obsessed with. So that was my first introduction. I also have the Game Boy with me with the Pokemon Go. I need to go get it at my desk so I can show it.
Me, let's see, this would have been, yeah, go ahead and bring that out. Sorry. Once again, it's my fault. The internet is terrible over here. That good old seminary internet just doesn't want to play nice. I heard the last part of what you said.
Oh, that's the one I have.
Oh, yes.
There it is. Mine's in my closet.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Me, this would have been around third grade, I think. 97, 98. Don't trust me for timelines. And, heard about, the anime that was coming out, the video games, didn't know what anime was at that age, and had a lot of friends who were into it. And there was also the time when, people were afraid of things they didn't understand. And so there was a huge, big, no, it's Japanese, it's satanic, we can't go anywhere near it, until eventually my parents, cooled down on that. I actually got in trouble one night for borrowing a friend's Game Boy to play the game and hiding under my covers to play it. And my mom found me. So that was not a good day. But she did chill out later on. So I got into, the next generation, Gen 2, and so on and so forth. Watched a little bit of the anime. Definitely dropped out of watching that, and had a couple of the Pokemon cards that also I had to hide from my mother. And yeah, it's just been a really fun series to get into. So speaking of, like, what is it about the series that we love?
Pikachu.
Also Pikachu. Yes.
Solid
And
answer.
Pika.
to be fair, Morpeko is my spirit animal at the same time, because Morpeko's very existence is about being hangry, right? So when he's hangry,
Yes.
he's angry, Morpeko, and then he goes back to being nice, and that's me in real life. So relatable.
Yeah, I'll say, listeners, just on the podcast, you are missing out on some great visuals today.
We're holding our Pikachus, and I'm
Yes.
wearing my Pokemon hat.
And your Pika clones. Yeah.
I have, and just in this room alone, 1, 2. In this room alone, I have 5 stuffed Pikachus with me, not including the other Pokemon plushies. Just saying.
Me, this kind of tickles my fancy of like going out, exploring a world, finding new friends to make, new Pokemon to make friends with, and learning about type advantages, and like not being that 8, 9-year-old kid who just said, "Well, I'll just use Charizard against everything because Charizard's the best." It's like, no, you actually have to learn some strategy, and the physical special split and everything. I like to get into the competitive side of things, but really, I just like exploring and just having fun in these games.
Man, I spent some hours playing that Game Boy. Hours. And even like into adulthood, like, because I would just have random moments. I'm like, you know what? Let's go and just replay it.
Oh yeah. I learned because of this game how to replace a battery in a Game Boy cartridge and how to clean a Game Boy cartridge appropriately. So new hobbies were born and new tools that have helped me later in life. So life skills.
Perfect. Yeah, I also remember all the arguments of after my parents had cooled down and let me play and actually own the games, of being in the car and having the little, what do they call those lights that you would stick to the side of the Game Boy,
Yeah.
and being like, you can't have that on. I can't see. Turn it off.
It's like every dad in the world, is their job to say if there's a single light inside the car will flip over and run off the road. It's very dangerous.
Right, but gosh, that Game Boy Advance though. Like no, not the Game Boy.
Yep.
You know, the flip one. Game Boy Advance was the longer one. That's the one that came out. But the flip one with the backlight, lifesaver. Like I'm so thankful. And then you go to the Nintendos, like DSs and DS, like it got better. And now you have the Switch. Like it just keeps getting better.
Got that too.
Better and better. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember when the 3DS came out, I got the one that was made specifically for X and Y, and I love that sucker. Well, we're going to be talking about our favorite generations and games. We're just going to do our top 3 just for the sake of time. But are there any games that we haven't played? Because Pokemon has many different things besides like your base games. You've got the Let's Go series, you got the Ranger series, the Shadows of Darkness, and all that. Like, are there any you guys haven't played?
Yeah, there's a gap for me, like between I didn't play X and Y. I didn't play after Ruby. There was a gap until it started getting released on the Switch.
Mm-hmm. I would say same for me. Actually, I played like the OG games, and then all of the DS and Switch games. But there were some of the advanced games I didn't play until later. So,
Yeah, I stopped after Gen 2, so Gold, Silver, Crystal. And it's kind of one of the things, so I've outgrown such things. I don't need to get back into it. And then in college, when you relearn to love things that you loved as a kid, I had a good friend of mine, a mutual friend of the show, Matthew Bailey, who introduced me to Gen 3, 4, and 5. And so I played those. So he gifted me his for a little bit so that I could play those games. That's where I caught my first shiny that wasn't the shiny Gyarados. Little, yeah, it was a ton of fun. But as far as the mainstream games, I've played them all, even the remakes. But other than that, I have never played like Ranger or Conquest or the 50 billion other things that are out there. But yeah, there's something that's always bringing me back to Pokemon. It's just feels good to get back into it at times. Like you need that de-stressor.
mm-hmm.
Did you play
Right.
Pokemon Capture, like the picture taking game on the Switch? That was pretty.
The Snap?
Yeah, the Snap.
No, that's not really my thing, but I understand why people love it.
It was very fun.
I did like it. And I got like the Fujifilm like Pikachu, that you could print off the pictures and stuff too. It's pretty fun.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to switch on to actually discussing our favorite gens, starting with our third. And anyone can go first. And what we're going to do is we're going to say which gen is our favorite, why we like the games more than others, how many times have we played them, our favorite mon from that gen, our favorite gym battle, and then what don't we like about them. So who would like to go first for their number 3? And I can if you need time.
I think my third favorite would probably be maybe Gen 2, Pokemon Johto.
Okay.
That's with Cyndaquil, right?
Yep.
And Chikorita and Totodile, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So that's my third favorite, just because you're still in the hype.
Yeah,
and
the
Chikorita
newest
was
games to
cute.
come out.
Yeah, her little crush on Ash in the anime was just cute too.
All right. So that's why you like it. Like, how many times have you played Gen 2 games?
That was what color games are those again? I know them better
Gold,
by
Silver,
color.
Crystal.
Yeah, okay. Crystal, played the mess out of some Crystal. Probably played that like almost the most, but I don't know why. I just kept on going back to like that Safari game. Like whenever you got to like just chill out in the Safari, and I think you can get it into the other ones too. And then I think Crystal has the tower, and I could never defeat the whole tower, and it really made me mad.
All right. What's your favorite mon from that gen? Is it Chikorita?
I want to say Chikorita for the personality, but I think Cyndaquil is cuter.
That's fair.
But Chikorita's personality is pretty much me whenever I see my husband, so I get it. Spirit Pokemon.
And the Taylor slander continues.
That is a compliment. That's not a slander.
The weakest starter. That's our boy Taylor. That's what Pang thinks of him.
No. I'm saying I'm Chikorita having a crush on my husband, who is
Oh,
Ash.
okay. I misunderstood. All right.
Duh.
I will retract what I've said.
As you should. I'm just trying to be a loving frickin' wife.
There's a first for everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you have a favorite gym battle you remember from Gen 2?
Nope, sure don't.
Nah, I figured as much. Uh, is there anything you don't like about Gold, Silver, Crystal?
Yeah, one time in the silver game, I freaking saved. It was in the Ice Palace, and I saved the wrong boulder sequence. And once you
Oh,
saved it, I hated myself.
and you were
Trauma, man.
stuck.
I was stuck.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I
I
ever
hate
did like
puzzles to
get
this
out.
day.
That was just the worst. I tried so hard to get around it, and I think I ended up just restarting it.
Yeah.
Because back in that day, you didn't have walkthroughs. You didn't have the internet. You can just Google stuff.
You had to buy it.
Like, yeah. And my parents didn't buy me that big old book of walkthrough. So
We were lucky to get the games.
yeah. Because times are tough back then. The 90s.
The
early
90s.
2000s.
That you'd like
Nah,
to
I'm
add
good.
about Generation 2? Okay. Laura, how
I'm
about
out.
you?
So I think my third would be Sword and Shield. Which generation is that?
Okay.
Is that
8?
8? Yeah. So I loved Score Bunny, like
Oh,
big Score Bunny fan. But I couldn't tell you what my favorite gym was. I remember getting irrationally mad at the water gym and then realizing I had just picked all the wrong Pokemon. You would think someone who had played it forever would know how to not do that, but I went in real confident and just really frustrated. And that was at the time that I realized my kids were better at games than I was now, because they came in and told me what to do. And it was just a real turning point for me in my life. So mixed feelings.
Real humbling experience.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. How many times have you played it?
Sword and Shield, I've played too many times. Probably. I got stuck on that for a long while because I revisited it again during like the pandemic and all of that. Like it was, it was a replay. So
Yeah. Is there anything you don't particularly like about Gen 8?
Not really. I mean, I really liked the because I'm a card game fan too. So I really like the cards that came out with that generation, especially. Like, so there were some good cards to accompany it.
Okay. Now, if you're on YouTube, you can see my choice. It is, of course, Gen 6. And not because I think it's the best generation in that regard for the third pick, but because of what it means to me. It got me back into Pokemon. It was around that time. That's when I bought that Switch. And I just needed it back in my life again. Like I said, I had played the other gens before that, but it was nice. But Gen 6 was like introducing Mega Evolution and all these different new Pokemon. And it just felt so good to be part of that. Oh, everyone's discovering it at the same time. Like it was back all the way back in elementary school. It would be like, yeah, there's totally a Mew underneath that truck over there. You just got to use these specific things to get to it. Only to find out later there is a specific way to get Mew, like 20 years after the fact. And it just felt good to be part of that again. Now, how many times have I played through it? At least 9 or 10. One of those things, just I would always transfer my Mons to Y and then back to X so that I could replay each one and not lose anything that I'd caught. Favorite Mon? Weird pick, but I'm going to pick Dragalge. Our Poison Dragon. I love its design. I love the fact that at the time that was a very unique typing for it. And it went from that, standard, water poison to a poison dragon. It's like, yes, sign me up. That was so cool. Favorite gym battle would definitely be what was her name? Karina. I think your third gym battle for that one, where you've just been introduced to Mega Evolution and now you get to use it on a gym leader for the first time. It just felt so good to do that. What I don't like about it, the middle part gets a little long, not nearly as long as Gen 7 will, but it just kind of meanders for a bit. So there's that. All right. Our number 2 pick. Who wants to go? Or we want to maintain order?
Well, okay, we'll maintain order. My number 2 pick would be Ruby. I don't know what gen that
Okay.
is. What
3.
gen is that? Oh, well, I'm really basic then. Is it because I love the introduction to the Pokemon contests. I was all up
Okay.
in those Pokemon contests. So yeah,
I
that was
suppose
it.
someone has to be a fan of them.
As you should. I loved it. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know. Like, I think I did defeat the whole game, but like, I was sold on my contest. Like, my beauty of Blaziken. Mwah.
Perfect.
And so, of course, I choose Torchic.
As your favorite?
Yeah. He was
Okay.
cute.
Yeah, he was. So how many times do you remember playing it?
I can't count.
That's fair. Like, how many times do you remember doing stuff as a kid? It's like
What do you mean?
over and over. It's in like
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, generally. Okay.
those
Do you
were
remember
some.
a favorite
I had
gym
a
battle?
traumatic. No, I told you it's a Pokemon contestant, Christian. Why aren't you listening to me?
Well, yes, but you had to progress through the game by
Yeah,
playing
but I told you
against
I
the
literally
champion.
got stuck at the Pokemon contestants, like the
Well, you had
contest,
to
the
fight.
beauty stuff.
You know what? I love you. We're not even gonna go further.
Yeah, we're done now.
All right. What was your most memorable contest you went through?
Can't remember. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
remember that I'm just gonna say I had a traumatic childhood. I can't remember a lot. Okay, so back
Yes,
off.
I
I'll
know.
tell you what I feel
Part of it is
comfortable
me.
sharing. How about that?
I, I just wanted to tease a little bit.
I know.
All right. Is there anything you don't like about Gen 3?
Well, yeah, I lost my Ruby game and I was very sad.
That is absolutely traumatic.
It was traumatic. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Laura, how about you for your number 2 pick?
My number 2 would be Diamond and Pearl, which is
Oh,
just
that's a good
Okay.
one too.
I love
So
I-
Diamond
Gen
and
4.
Pearl, and I loved when we got to revisit Diamond and Pearl. Piplup was, I mean, you know, he's just cute. I was also irrationally excited about Metapod for some reason. Can't explain that other than, who doesn't get excited about a Metapod, right?
I mean, I'll never forget that episode of the anime where it's just Ash and that bug catcher. Their metapods
Yeah.
both using the hardened move, and that's the end of the episode. It's like they can't win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Metapod
can they? We don't know. We never saw the ending of that.
Metapod is an underrated Pokemon, is all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough.
That's my hot
You
take.
remember how many? You know what? That's the softest hot take of the night. I'll take it. Do you remember how many times you played through Gen 4?
Oh, a lot. I don't remember how many times though. I definitely the earlier generations I played a lot more on repeat than the more recent generations I have, just because that was pre-kids and I had more time.
And less distractions too. There's so much, like, the internet made anime so much more to watch, gaming so much more to watch.
Sure.
We really didn't have anything much other than our early 2000 Game Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had to do something during commercials.
That's true.
Do you remember having a favorite gym battle from Gen 4?
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair enough.
No.
Is there anything about the game you're not particularly fond of?
I don't think so. I mean, I liked them because they were Diamond and Pearl, and I'm, a sucker for good marketing and anything that's relatable. So Diamonds and Pearls, being the extra person that I was.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now for me, Gen 2, as you can see on YouTube, is Gen 2 my favorite. second favorite, I should say. I played the heck out of this. I loved my Gen 1, but Gen 2 just improved on the original, and there was that whole thing. It's like, well, I just won the game, didn't I? No. Kanto is there as well. You get to refight the gym leaders. You get to refight the Elite Four again, and then you get to refight yourself. You actually get to fight yourself, I should say, from the last game. As a kid, that blew my mind
I'm not
that
gonna
that
lie,
was
I
the
kind of
thing.
hated that because
Oh
I
my
wanted
gosh.
to be done, and I was like, I gotta do more work. I was kind of frustrated. I already played this game, but I still did it.
Only you. Only you.
It's gonna be. It kind of aggravated me personally.
Yeah, I loved all the new mons that were introduced. I love the idea of shiny Pokemon. I didn't find anything other than like the Gyarados. That's like here's these things exist. Hope you find hope you find more. And I was a dumb kid who didn't recognize what was going on. So I have a vague memory of like seeing maybe a Sentret that might have been shiny that I might have killed. I don't know if that's just a false memory I've implanted. So there's that. Now, how many times have I played them? Oh gosh, including ROMs. It'd be at least 17, 18 times, if I'm remembering correctly.
I
I
feel like if
I
you can
love
count them,
those
it's
games.
not enough.
Keep going. Believe in
Yeah,
yourself.
Okay, I can make up
do
other
better,
numbers.
Christian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then favorite mon, I love Tyranitar so much. It has that rock dark typing that made it just so unique. Because I was expecting, oh great, another rock ground type. Then it evolves into that rock dark. It's like, okay, it's based on Godzilla. What is there not to love as a kid who loves Godzilla? And now there's a Pokemon pretty much that looks like it, with the serial numbers filed off so they don't get sued.
Mm-hmm.
Now, gym battle. I have a love-hate relationship with Morty's gym, and it's because of Chikorita and because I was a dumb kid. Because me not my fat fingers removed the only non-normal move that my my Meganium had, so I could do no damage
Oh
against any of its
no.
ghosts. So I was very upset, and I couldn't possibly be upset at myself because then I'd be in the wrong. So it's definitely the game's fault that happens. Definitely
Of
Meganium's
course.
fault. So I had to make some peace later on that no, I was just an idiot. So so it's fun going back there and like getting my revenge. Be like, oh, you won that time, buddy. Not anymore. Comes, I'm a very petty man.
Vengeance.
Yes.
In
Gen
your
2, what
blood.
I wasn't very big on, the grinding is one of the worst in the series. Like you can beat the Elite Four in like level 40 something or something like that the first time around, and then the game escalates from there, but the Mons don't just give enough experience. As an adult who doesn't have time for that, that's why I play ROM hacks that make it so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now it's time for our number one. Pang, the people have been waiting to hear the wisdom you're about to bestow on them. But your favorite game is, or your favorite gen out of all these gens, which one is it?
It was Christmas Eve in 1990, where I was at my grandparents' house and I opened up a yellow Game Boy, and there was the yellow Pokemon. You can't if I did
Magnificent.
anything but say yellow for the 15th time, like I would be betraying everything of who I am, of my whole being.
Okay.
It will
Yeah, yeah.
always be number one in my heart.
And nostalgia factor is a huge reason for why you pick what you pick. I get
Yeah.
it.
That's
That's
why
why Gen
like
2 is as
literally
high as it is.
my top 3 is just the top 3 in order, or the first 3 in different order.
Okay. Do you have any idea in your traumatic background of how many times you played the game?
Not enough.
Not enough. Oh, that is an excellent answer. I accept
Thank
it.
you. So you want to be a master?
I hesitate to ask this question. I can only imagine which Mon you would choose. But do you have a favorite from this generation?
Jigglypuff. It's my second because Pikachu is my first.
Of
Like what I did there.
nothing ever would have given that away, especially if you're watching this on YouTube right now. She's collected all her badges.
Freaking
Generation
defeated
1,
it.
your favorite. Now, you defeated it. So that
defeated
means you
them.
must have a favorite gym battle.
I was so pissed with Brock's gym, honestly. Like, because with Pikachu, and like, of course, you get your Pidgey. You know what I mean? You get a Caterpie.
Yep.
Like, it's just made hard. It's made to be hard. That gym battle.
Well, that's why they introduced Mankey and Nidoran, so you get those double kicks and karate chops in.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I didn't have the walkthrough. Be trying to like fight Brock with Thunder Shock over here. Stupid. Silly
It doesn't work
Liz.
like the anime where it sets off the sprinklers. It's not fair.
Silly little Liz. It's fine. So probably favorite gym battle. Let's see. I like the bug one, the ninja one, the heart one.
Oh, Koga?
That one.
Yeah, that's a great one. Great pick.
Yeah.
Right. Is there now? I know it's your number one, but if you're TJ, you believe everything has flaws, and I'm close to TJ's position. Do you think is there anything about that game that you don't particularly like?
I just don't understand in all the games why when they do the sound of the Pokemons, why they sound like meow. You know what I mean? I just don't get. I never understood that.
The limitations of gaming at the time.
Yeah, I still don't get it. That's
the fact that
probably
we actually
it.
got the Pika was astounding at the time because that's like
But
the
when
only
you tell
wood
that,
thing we got.
when you tell that to 7-year-old Liz, we don't care about that.
Oh, poor 7-year-old Liz.
I know she really did struggle, and she was ugly too. She had bug teeth and everything. But whew, we better now. We really glowed up.
Be nice to yourself.
I'm calling it as it is. Got braces. Learn how to dress myself.
Quit bullying yourself. Laura, how could you possibly go on from there? But it's your turn. Your number one pick, generation-wise.
My number one pick of all the Pokemon games is Pokemon Sleep. I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, it's not. It is also obviously Gen 1 and Yellow. Like they're what else do you do? You know, it's I remember being really excited about Misty's gym just because I loved Indigo League too, and I felt like I was playing like Indigo League, you know, and so it was. I mean, you were, but I loved it. The only flaw was the battery life of the Game Boy and driving down the road and not being able to see and losing battery after like 2 hours. And my dad telling me that was the only batteries I had for the whole trip to Pittsburgh. And life was a struggle for Laura at moments too, growing up.
It was really tough in those early
These days. They'll never know. They'll never know.
Yeah, batteries,
they really don't. They can plug their. They get Wi-Fi in cars now.
Yeah, what the heck?
What the friggin' heck?
This spoiled generation. How dare they be in better
so
times?
Entitled.
That's one of the reasons why I haven't reproduced, because I don't want to. I'm just pre-mad at all the stuff they get.
Oh gosh. Anything else you'd like to add, Laura?
No.
Yeah, you are definitely off your meds. Nothing wrong.
Okay, number one, I don't take meds.
Yeah.
Get it right. This is all natural.
I do. I feel like I should add that I have, my starter Pokemon.
Yes, please.
Right here. I also have a Pikachu and I have a Charmander, but I can't show that to you because of the outfit I wore. It was a poor choice today.
I was hoping you would say it was a tramp stamp or something.
Oh yeah, I got Pikachu like right here on the small of my back. He's like
that's how hardcore I am.
God damn
Poor
hell.
Chris. This is why we need more females. This is so fun.
You know what? I'm enjoying this. Don't get me wrong. I was not prepared for the madness. Okay, I'm back. I'm composed. My number one, if you're on YouTube, you can see is Gen 5. This is another one of those. I think this is the tightest story we've had in the games overall. I love Team Plasma and In and Getsus as your antagonists. I love Professor Juniper as your leader here. I think she's effective in that regard. And the whole thing that it's a flaw and something I like is that you're restricted, at least in black and white, to only the new generation. So that forced you to learn them. It forced you to not pick your old favorites and then figure out what they're about. So that's a bit of a criticism I would throw at it, but at the same time, I understand. So I got used to it and I liked it. So yeah, it gave me a higher appreciation for some of these mons I never would have used before. Um, one of which, my favorite, is my boy Crocodile. Catching him in the desert, see ground dark, growing up into this crocodile with dark black uh, sunglasses and being a menace. I love that man. He carried almost every single one of my teams. Now, gym battles is kind of a tie for me. I think I give the slight edge to Skyla because I love her gym design. I love her design. I love the fight you have with her, but also I'd want to throw Ellis out there as kind of like my backup pick because I also loved her design, and her team. But I think Skyla just slightly edges her out, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Now, other than that, yeah, I've already mentioned that. So those are our favorites, our top three. If you guys in the comments below want to tell us your top three, we'd love to hear it, engage with you there. But let's go on. We're talking more about the games in general. Have we ever caught them all in
No,
any of the games that we played? No. I
I don't
knew
have
that
the
would be the
attention
answer.
span for that.
No, definitely not. By the time I would have gotten to that point, there was a new game, and I just went to the new game. So.
Yep.
Yes. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. I I had
And plus, Ash never
friends.
caught them all, so I'm just trying to be like Ash. You know what I
That's
mean? I'm trying to
true.
do the
That's
most.
fair.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. Oh, the guy didn't become a champion until like 20 years
I know. I need
later.
his skincare routine.
Yeah, older games most definitely never caught them all. I was hindered by the fact that sometimes I'd only be able to play one of them, depending on how much money my parents had, and they were willing to throw my way. Others was, yeah, I had friends who played, but none of us had link cables, which is
Mm,
these dang kids don't have to worry about today either
yeah,
with their
with their
fancy
internet.
internets.
Golly. But they don't even know what a LAN party is, right? Like, what the heck?
Oh my gosh. That's what we're saying is get off our lawns, you ungrateful.
Ah.
No, but eventually I did in Gen 6, did have friends who had internet access and other versions of the game, so we could trade back and forth. And eventually I caught them all from the past generations. And up until this generation, I have them all because I haven't bought the DLC for Gen 9. Honestly, as fun as Scarlet and Violet was, it's a huge downgrade to me as quality. It's just gotten too easy. And I know I'm an adult playing a children's game, so you can rage against me all you want, but I wish they were harder. I wish there was a hard mode for the game, and that's why I kind of play ROM hacks, which gets me into my next question. Actually, no, that doesn't. But goodness gracious, I am so frustrated.
Your next question can be whatever you want it to be. What do you want
You
your
know
next
what? You're
question
right.
to
You know what I want my next question to be is: have any of us ever gotten to ROM hacks of the games? Does anyone need an explanation for that? Which would be no.
Considering I do need an explanation, then I'm gonna
Okay.
say
So ROM hacks are they've taken the files from the game. Typically, Fire Red is going to be the one that's used the most, but Black and White have been used and others have been used. And you use that system to base a new game around it. So for me, I love playing Radical Red. Radical Red is what I want Pokemon to be, is that the typings are better, the move sets are better, the games are harder, not in the like insane way of like only the best of the best can make it, but just enough of a challenge to make it worthwhile, especially if you're nuzlocking the games. That means, if your Pokemon faints, it's no longer usable. I love playing that way because it adds that extra challenge and you add another challenge on top of that. So there we go. So I'm hearing no's across the board, so we won't linger there anymore.
No, you
We can,
weirdo. How dare you play
yes,
the wish.com? You betrayed Pokemon, is what I'm hearing.
yeah. Yeah, Nintendo very much hates ROM hacks in every way, shape, or form, even though they're not making any money off of it because they know people like it and they're not willing to give them what they want, is what I'll say.
Mm. So I've never really gotten into them, but we do have some. So we have an arcade that we have a lot of arcades at our house, but we have one that we added a bunch of, games to. And some of the games that are on there are some of these, but I haven't gotten into them and played them. My kids have, though.
Oh, nice. Very good. So going back, we kind of talked a little bit about what we like about the game. So what about them makes them fun to us that we keep coming back? We're 9 generations into this game. We've all grown older. Why do we keep coming back to these children's games?
I think for me, it's that honestly, the formula doesn't really change, right? It's the same reason that I watch The Office on repeat over and over again. It's the same reason I read Harry Potter over and over again. And it's
Yes.
not because I can't take something new, but I love the familiarity of it. So when I open a new Pokemon game, I'm a kid again. Like I'm the same kid, that got Pokemon for the first time, that watched Indigo League for the first time. And so there's some familiarity to it. And yet there's also always something new to catch and to look for and aspire to. So for me, I love it because I know exactly what I'm getting when I get a Pokemon game. And I will always continue to buy them. There will never be a time when I don't buy it the day it comes out. Like that's my commitment to Pokemon. So yeah.
Right. Dang.
I like what I like, and I like Pokemon. But no, it was my childhood. So I mean, I joked about it earlier, but the reality is I did not have a happy childhood growing up. I would wake up and I didn't know if it was going to be. I would listen for my parents yelling to see if it was going to be a good day or a bad day, or if it was going to be just an okay day. And so Pokemon just was a great distraction for me, and it was my therapy before I discovered, actual therapy. Not to like make it sound sad, but it was my friend, my comforter, and like my escape at home. And so as my freaking Laura was saying, like it does bring, like I feel like a kid again. So when I love everything about Pokemon. Like I loved watching the anime. When we went to Japan, like I went to the Pokemon Cafe and that giant Pikachu coming to dance. Like I wanted to fight off this little girl who kept on getting in my shot because I was trying to film Pikachu. I was like, this is my moment, like there's a little 10-year-old girl and I'm 31 and I'm like, no, this is my freaking moment right now. Okay. I waited 30 years for this. So it's just fun.
Well, minus the wanting to harm children. I do
Well, she kept
agree
on getting
with
her
my
freaking big head in my shot, and you couldn't leave your seats.
Sometimes you don't want to harm children. You just want to put them in their place.
Yeah.
Like we were here first.
Yeah, I actually was.
I'm with you. I got you.
Thank you. And she has kids, so she knows.
It's true.
and
Sometimes
that's
my kids
now
can be shoved out of the way. It's fine.
on the air for everyone to hear. But no, I
My
totally
kids are
agree. Like
fine.
that's that familiarity you brought up, Laura. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I reread the things that I reread. That's why we rewatch the things we rewatch because we know what we're getting.
Mhm.
Because they pleased us the first time around. There are things I don't rewatch because they didn't please me as much the first time around. But when I don't need to think or I just need something on the TV so I can just fall asleep, well, yeah, there's tons of different Pluto channels I can go to just watch some Star Trek or Doctor Who or what have you. It's just I've seen them before, so I don't have to pay attention, and my mind can go to sleep or my mind can relax. And playing these games, my mind can relax. Look, I am in seminary right now. I'm taking 15 hours because I chose to do that, and that's my own fault. But I can turn on a video game or watch a movie or something that I've already seen before because it brings me comfort. And these games bring a lot of comfort. because I know pretty much all of them by heart now.
Mhm.
So there won't be surprises unless I encounter a shiny, but it's still fun. It's still, even after all these years, I can still play Gen 1 with all its many, many flaws of how its system is based, about how the typing system works. I don't care because it's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Now, to go away from the games, well, a certain type of game, Laura, you mentioned earlier to us that you were very big into the trading card game side of things. Can
Mm.
you go over what makes that so enjoyable to you, and are you still collecting?
Do I still collect? I wish that I was at home so I could show you. I'm at my office, so I only have part of my Pokemon collection. My cards are a little out of hand. I'm going to give you the number one reason I love the card game is ADHD dopamine boost. So every time you open a pack of cards, it's like Christmas and a treasure hunt, and like you don't know what you're going to get. Do I usually get like 10 of the same card over and over again? Sure. Am I a glutton for punishment and I keep buying cards? Absolutely. Pokemon cards are the one thing that I know if I'm having a really bad week. This sounds like a drug, honestly, the way I'm going to describe this. But if I'm having a really bad week, I can stop and spend $5 on a pack of cards, get that dopamine boost, you know. But it's more than that. I love math and I love building things. And so the fact that I can make my team and put together cards and build decks, like for me, I realize for some people that sounds horrible, but laying out all my cards and organizing them and building a deck is like, there is nothing that will calm me down and make me feel more put together than that. So there's like systems to it too. But then I think there's something so basic about collecting cards. Again, maybe it's nostalgia, takes us back to being kids, back when you were, pogs and all that stuff that we had as kids that we just moved away from into more digital play. But, and it's not just Pokemon. I mean, it's Magic the Gathering and things like that too, that I just love collecting and holding on to. It's something tangible. I love teaching my kids how to play the card game. I love forcing my kids against their will to play the card game. I love forcing my husband against his will to play the card game. And so, things like that are all about building relationships.
And manipulation, it sounds like. I love it.
Wow. Thank you for that, because that's one thing, like I mentioned earlier, that kind of went away from me. It was like collecting them was a lot of fun back as a kid, but having the different folders where everything was put in its place was nice. But also, cards are expensive, and your boy got no money. So I'm not planning on restarting anytime soon. There are other things that have, my wallet interested in them. So yeah, but I definitely get the appeal. It's like, working with other people, fighting them. That's what card building's all about. And then also having time to spend with them, like making it a family interaction sounds like a heck of a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also have, because they have these, like the Pokemon Academy too. I keep this in my office in case students want to learn how to play Pokemon. I teach Old Testament and New Testament, but I lure them into my office to play Pokemon with me. So, I have this on hand so I can teach people how to play and enter them into a new world of Pokemon obsession. So that's what I do.
Yeah. Frequently, the Old Testament and New Testament are the gateway drug to Pokemon playing.
It's true. Jesus told us to go out and make disciples of all the nations. And how do you do that but catching them all? So it's Pokemon.
To be fishers of men, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So, you guys have anything else you'd like to add before we wrap things up today?
I just wish more people had the zeal and enthusiasm to talk about Pokemon with me for an hour. So, this has been therapeutic.
Excellent.
It's my
Well, I'm glad we
pleasure.
could provide that.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you, listeners, for surviving this very chaotic episode that we
It was
somehow
not
managed to make our
chaotic.
way through it. Oh, don't you start with me.
I take offense.
If for our Patreon and Captain supporters, we are going to do a special bonus question where we are going to ask the question: if we had to become a gym leader, what Pokemon type would we specialize in, and why? So if that intrigues you, maybe send a little money our way, and you can hear our responses to that. So, does anyone have a recommendation they'd like to throw the audience's way?
Go dust out your freaking Game Boy and play some Pokemon. Go be a kid again.
Mm.
That's my recommendation. Maybe do it outside because you need some sunlight and that really helps with mental health actually. So like do that. You'll have a really good day, I promise you.
Yeah, play Pokemon Go for a walk. Go for a walk.
We didn't even talk about go and sleep.
I do love Pokemon Sleep. There's nothing better than waking me up in the morning to seeing which Pokemon I have. It's great.
Yeah, I had to stop that. It was getting a little too like it was not getting restful for me. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I loved playing Go, but it also hit that part of me that I've learned I can never play gotcha games in any way, shape, or form because they appeal to that. Oh, maybe the next spin, or maybe the next time I'll get it, and that's expensive, and I don't have money for that. So I need to stop my gambling addiction before it gets really bad.
Nah. Just go get more money.
But
Sell feet pics.
Thank you, Pang. That's
You're
exactly
welcome.
what I want to do as a seminary student.
Mhm.
Is advertise that I do something like that. You
It's not illegal.
It's gracious.
You gotta do what
My
you gotta
actual
do.
recommendation that has nothing to do with Pokemon is I finally watched Dial M for Murder. I'm trying to get into some old movies that I've never seen before. It is an excellent Hitchcock film, exploring, why someone would want to do it, how to cover it up. It's really a lot of fun. So there's that. Thank you, listeners, for bearing with us through this episode and all the fun that we had in the midst of the chaos. Please, if you get a chance, leave a 5-star review in your podcasting platform of choice. Also, as well, you can reach out to us at systematicgeekology@gmail.com to send us episode topic ideas and questions as well, since you got us to over 100 subscribers on YouTube. That just to ask us in general or ask a specific host. We'll get as many people as possible to answer those questions for you eventually down the road. I'd like to shout out some supporters as well. Thank you, Aaron Hardy, Daniel Sigmund, Trip Fuller, and James Barrett. You guys are the best. But remember, we're all a chosen people, a geekdom of priests.